There was no action taken in the session. You guys hear me out there? Okay, we did not take action in closed session. Turn to open session. Public comment. Public comment on agenda items. Members of the public may address the board regarding items on this agenda immediately prior to being discussed by the board. 6 action items. Do I have any comments on? On our action items?
I have a question.
Okay.
I'd like to know, I'm the outreach at the high school, and I'd like to know now that Mr. Kimball is assigned to Hoopa Health, who will be overseeing the outreach with the McKinney-Vento homeless foster youth program.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that. We have, we have a written plan, but I don't know that that has been accepted.
Okay. So when will we know about that?
But knowing that we are, those are all things that
Yeah.
Those are pretty important programs too. So, I mean, dealing with your most at-risk demographic.
I have a question also. Now that our Kimball is gone as a special ed person, who is going to take his place?
that in a couple of weeks, we'll have all those programs that he was overseeing lined up.
Because I just heard rumor that the superintendent said she could do it. But,
That's not been in discussion.
well, I'm just saying what I heard, but not if, the way she's running the district right now, I think she's got, she's being schooled by Fred. How much more money are we going to spend on this? Kids are not at grade level. I'm really concerned about our students that are not at grade level. And then, because I don't think any of the COVID dollars or any dollars that come into our district, when a person comes to work and you fill out the application, I always understood that they hit the ground running. In this case, obviously, she could not walk very fast. So then out of our district dollars, wherever it came from, paid, I don't know how much money to Fred to come up and teach her, which she didn't know. And then her kids are still not at grade level. She was not at grade level, you might say, but we helped her. You guys decided to help. So I would like the board to strongly take consideration of helping our students. That's what you guys are here for. And I feel like we really need to spend more time on our students, not on a lame bird. We are in kid business. We're not teaching people how to do their job. Obviously, she came in lying to say she was ready for it. That would have been on the first slide, I guess. And then after that, it went crazy. And we're trying to fix it. You guys can't fix that person. But no, all you guys. ask her something, and she'll say one thing, and the next time she'll say another, or she won't answer at all, she'll just talk. That didn't do her no good. So think about that. Think about our students that are behind. Think about hiring a counselor to counsel these babies that are in foster care and they're homeless. They're so far behind at grade level, they become behavior problems. And then they take it up, oh, they're just little hell raisers, we can't teach it. No. We are creating these kids because the lack of education. I made it a point to talk to people that was supposed to have IEPs and didn't. They weren't served. They're grown-ups now. One of the guys said, when I couldn't read, then I started raising hell in the class, and then they kicked me out. Then I didn't have to let my fellow students know I couldn't read. And that, no one can argue with that because that's just the way it is. Stop trying to fix somebody that can't be fixed. I always say, you can help somebody, but they have to fix themselves.
We have a motion.
I move we approve resolution.
Second.
Favor? Yes.
Oh, clarification. There's two funds, or two resolutions, 1 and 2.
That's normal for the end of the year when the county, when they get our budget down, which do they have to borrow from the special reserve or do we put in the special reserve? That's normal for every year.
So is my motion clear enough?
That we approve.
Motion passes. College High School ITech project bid acceptance. Pearson Company award the project to Pearson.
Motion to approve that.
That's it. Discussion?
I think it's exciting that our bids came in lower than what we were expecting. So that's, I think that's due to our architecture. So, hey, we may be able to get more equipment in it versus just building.
Yeah.
Just for some, clarify the shovel ready. So in our original timeline, we were talking about the first week in September, and we're looking at moving it into August, in the first couple of weeks to get it started. The contractors stated that they would start a little bit earlier because of the heat and they know the general area. So they're hoping to get that taken care of. And we do have a closeout with our high school, our gym roofing, which was back in 2016. And so once we pay the division of the state architect, the last of the invoice to them for how they do a calculation, it's estimated at $2 million. They do an estimate of what we have to pay the division of state architect. And so now that we close that out, we can be shovel ready as soon as we pay the invoice to them. So that invoice will be going out. It's about $59,000 because the estimate was $2 million. This is previous on project manager, and it was actually 9. And so that's why there's such a big difference. However, we're ready to get that taken care of, and we will, I'm hoping to plan a ribbon cutting so that we can, celebrate that this is coming. And yes, our architects, they're incredible, and they're very professional, and they're making this really easy to work and have a lot of confidence in. So it's been a really great experience with this architect. Well, I'm looking forward. Hopefully the second week in August. Great round.
They expect we
We want to have it moved in on time. Maybe say it was November. That was a question of next year.
Next year.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah. That's just, yeah, no. So,
There's a possibility to be.
we're gonna push the shovel ready in August, and we'll see how the weather holds out. And the winter time, usually kind of set this back a little bit, but we'll go from there. So.
Yes, finally.
Call for a vote.
I,
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C, addendum to school plan for student achievement, SPSA for Jackson Elementary School, Cooper Valley High School, Cooper Valley Elementary School. These are amendments in 2021-2022 school plans for student achievement for the use of funds that were given an extension due to the pandemic. Maggie, you have a comment?
Yeah, my comment was just that I was able to meet with the site council today. And my understanding is that because this is agendized, that the small tweak in the language that we approved today could be approved by the school board. Again, we have to spend these monies by September 1st because school financing is tricky. Like, this is money that I believe, Carmen can correct me if I'm inaccurate, but that we have to spend upfront and then do the proper paperwork to get reimbursed for CSI. And I can go over the small changes, the differences of the documents with you guys because they're so small, like it's not that big of a deal.
It is agendized here, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can.
Okay. I think that they're passing around the one with the approval date of July 12th at the bottom. So you would have one in your packet, but this is a new one.
okay.
There's no changes until you get to the strategy activity 1. I've underlined and bolded the additional terminology, and even in the original language, it said professional development. And if you look at the expense codes that would be allowable to be spent on the professional development, it does include materials and supplies. So there was always an intent to purchase materials and supplies with that funding, because that's not a change from the first to the second document. It allows for paying employees, materials and supplies, contractors, and I think the original intent was at the end of last school year, there would have been an announcement to staff that says, hey friends, like we have this money needs to get spent. We're hoping that you're willing to work on some professional development, including like if you are interested in developing a new elective, because some feedback we're getting from the WASC is that our electives are very narrow in focus and that they would like to see us grow electives, that we could pay you for your time in developing a new elective. We could pay you for your time in doing some asynchronous learning about universal design. We could pay you for your time to do interdepartmental units, and also culturally responsive integration into your curriculum. So there was always an intent to kind of give them options, but nobody told them. And so now I'm feeling like it's a really, I would as a teacher feel very guilt tripped in be receiving a message from an administrator that basically said, well, we had to send back $170,000 because nobody went to PD. And so I'm really just hoping to open it up more broadly so that, I can purchase You know, I just grabbed these for the purposes of showing you, but I could purchase like redesigning schools type books and then giving staff an option. You know, I have a library of books that you guys can choose from to do some PLC work in, you know, small groups, like maybe there's more than one person interested in student-centered coaching. And so then those staff members would sign up to do a book segment like this, and we can compensate them to take a leader, you know, maybe a teacher leader would say, I'll design the PD that goes along with this book. But purchase multiple books, you know, and purchase multiple materials and supplies that would help people provide universal design for learning. Remember at the last board meeting, it was like we're going through the LCAP, and I said culturally responsive teaching, yay, universal design for learning, yay, but it was all professional development, and you really can't train people to do something new if they don't have the materials and equipment and supplies that they need to do it differently, you know? So I'm just really making it clear that we'd like to add, you know, subscriptions, you know, different things to technology. And I've gone through our WASC action plan, very detail oriented to see exactly the things that is written in there. And I'm meeting with our leadership team tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, to get their feedback and their input on things. So it's not just like me filling out OSRs, and I don't even know how to use Escape yet anyway, but not just me spending a whole bunch of money without the input. We have some Escape people back here. So that's the only change to the strategy activity 1. The second strategy activity, I think, when the site council met originally, they were looking for opportunities to make visual improvements to our site and being creative about using CSI money to kind of like get a twofer. Like, we have some outdoor spaces that are unsightly. How can we make them learning space, like a learning center? And so there was a bid or some sort of document that was created by Miller Farms to do, and it kind of says landscaping. It shouldn't say landscaping anyway. There's these plans that were never submitted to the CDE for approval. So I'm just asking that we change that learning center, that word center, to spaces. And that way we can be very creative in doing some, how do we get activities that would traditionally be done inside the classroom, outside the classroom? You know, and we were just kind of talking about, like, we don't really have any outdoor seating at all. So there might be a variety of outdoor seating, including like traditional stools. You know what I mean? Like, that would be really fun to have students be able to grab traditional stools and go outside and do work. Easels for painting, shade structures so that kids aren't super hot. Bulletin boards outside so that departments can have, you know, here's the information you need for this week or this month or this, you know, hex, you know, and so that the outdoor spaces can be more integrated into learning spaces as well. And that way, if it's after hours and you have kids that are just got done with practice or whatever, they can run over and, you know, check the space, the identified space for those classes, and see what they, you know, need to do or whatever. That way it's not just locked behind the door, but murals, lots of things can be done with creating outdoor learning spaces. And so we're just asking for those 2 little tweaks in the language.
I have those are great ideas. One of the things I was just wanting you to keep forward thinking is you're going to have a new building there. So what courses, you know, keep that in mind. There needs to be training in the CTE area.
Yes. I met with Janice Lorenzo on Saturday, and she's our differentiated assistant person through HCOE that is kind of like let me hear your ideas for spending CSI money, because I can tell you if it's allowable, if it's not allowable. And her biggest thing was, because I said, well, maybe, you know, we can have stipends for teachers to do professional development, because I was really trying to keep this language, and that the stipends could be given to them monthly, and that it's encumbered. And she was like, it has to be spent, because it has to be requested for reimbursement. So that's why we had to really, okay, so it can't be something that we make like a plan for it spending, money's have to go on.
By September 1.
By September 1. And that gives Carmi 30 days or whatever to do the trickery on the finance side to get us reimbursed. Whatever it is those processes are.
That's an accounting. Remember
I move that we approve the addendum to school factors so that you can have corrected.
I second that. Yeah.
I can't hear with that.
Keep hitting it so
that.
Thank you.
Did that
Gee.
include all of the school plans?
Memorandum of understanding between KTTA and KTJUSD Professional Development Committee 2022 through 2025.
I move that we table this until we can get a better handle on the business end of these. What exactly, how is it affecting? Carmi, what, you did have some questions on how certain things work that need to be clarified.
Yeah, I have to get some clarification because there's just some open-ended language here, and it looks like we just paid $610,000 for professional development, so this would be in addition to. And I just, there's some open-ended questions that, would this pertain to what we just, you guys just approved, or, so there's just a little bit of,
I can answer questions if she has questions about it.
Well, we need, I'm not sure if it has to go back to
I'll have
be
to go back
signed, be clear, be more clear and both sides sign off on it and then.
yeah, I need to, I'll speak with Jen when she gets back to just.
Get clarification and get the clear
And then I can-
signatures from both
I
sides.
can do the financial piece, so you guys have the actual financial piece.
Not that we're opposing, we just
No.
need to know how it affects the budgets. So I move that we table this to another meeting.
Okay, do we need to vote on that?
I second it. I second.
Your motion.
All in favor?
What
Oh,
time?
Tom, you have a question?
No,
Okay,
I was offered to pick the second.
opposed? Okay. Listen, the table. Memorandum of understanding between KTTA and KTJUSD commuter mileage allowance 2022 through 2024.
We approve.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I just have a question on that. Will that be opened up to classified as well, or is that just for certificated?
That
It's for KTTA.
it's a
So will
MOU with
CSEA Will
KTTA.
CSEA have an opportunity to do that as well, or how does that work?
Go to negotiations.
I just have a quick comment. I didn't feel like there was a public comment opportunity for D. And I'm hoping that there could be a better practice for questions to be answered prior to the board approval process so that there is a forward momentum, right? Because we will have to wait until the next board meeting to know whether or not, we can, like right now, we can't even do an election process for people who would be potential professional development committee members. It just halts everything back. And it feels like that could have been an internal discussion prior to the board meeting so that it could be agendized and approved timely.
That would have been great. You're right.
Can we add it?
Why wasn't it that way?
Well, with I kind of cut off our governance handbook process when I made the motion before discussion, so that's bad. I'm bad.
Oh,
Go into timeout.
Well, on the professional development one,
Yeah.
that's going to take a while to get the questions clarified, but in the future, that's a
Yeah, it just feels like the things that need to be in place that are specified under this MOU are just halted, right? So we're not able to elect a committee and for them to be starting the work of the professional development committee until the board approves this. And the funding for stipends for these positions is pretty clear. I guess I'm not understanding what needs to be clarified, and that's why it just kind of feels like. And Carmi is saying that she agrees that it would be nice to have everything ready to go. So I'm unaware of your inability to connect with the superintendent, so I apologize for that. I just thought you guys hung out all the time or something.
no, we're not allowed to.
No, I mean Carmi and.
Okay.
It feels like
We,
the best of
okay,
friends
we
here.
passed the KTTA,
You're on to F.
Okay. F, MOU, CSEA and KTJUSD Resource Center and Student Account for fourth year calendar. And do we have any discussion?
This is the Indian Ed Resource,
This is-
Billy's old position.
I did notice though that there was a mistake on it. It wasn't 210 days. I was only 200 days and it says 210 days to 240, but it should have read 200 to 240. 240 is what it used to be. That's what you're taking it back to. But it wasn't 210. It was only, I only worked 200 days.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes a difference or not in how it, I mean, it's not like you're going backwards.
It would make.
We
Yeah.
turned it back to 210. We voted.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
increasing.
increasing.
So-
Oh, yeah.
Up to
Right.
240.
Yeah.
So that, right, that was the.
Yeah.
The increase is there.
Right, the increases, so it's just more.
I think.
Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Go ahead, Lauren.
Okay, all in favor?
No.
Yeah.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Excuse me, do you guys have the final say on the pay? Because Indian Ed voted for 80,000 for Indian Ed director, and now I see that I was told it was down to 70. So I'm just wondering how
That's a
that
different position.
Yeah, we were
Oh.
talking about the clerk.
happened. Oh, okay, you know you were talking about. But we still had, oh yeah, the director was increased.
It did go up to 70, 77.
The director?
It was supposed to be the same as the vice
Vice
principal.
principal, yeah, that is what we voted on, but it was. I think the wellness clerk gets 80.
Move on.
G, memorandum of understanding between CSEA and KTJUSD professional development days and compensation. Any discussion?
I move we approve.
I second that.
All in favor?
The
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. And
I make a motion to adjourn.
over there,
I second that.
all in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.